GamingBolt presents 15 biggest PUBG controversies. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is one of the most successful video games ever made. It sparked enthusiasm in the Battle Royale genre beyond just Minecraft Hunger Games, we mean, and sold millions of copies while still in Steam Early Access. That being said, it's had tons of controversies in its short lifespan, with seemingly no end in sight. So let's take a look back at the 15 biggest controversies, and you can let us know where the game goes from here. Asset flipping. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds may have become a gargantuan IP, but its origins still involved a small team with limited resources. To that end, when licensing Unreal Engine 4, the development team also utilized available assets to build the game, which is a perfectly acceptable practice, but it didn't take long for some to decree asset flip. Asset flipping is the process of relying entirely on pre-made assets with little to no actual original work, something which creator Brendan Green took exception to. He clarified that leaning on the asset store was necessary, but the actual game is composed of in-house content, outsourced assets, and store-bought assets. Stream sniping against SHROUD. Stream sniping is the process of following your favorite streamer, trying to get into the game with them, usually by queuing at the same time, and then watching their every movement on another monitor. It can be pretty annoying, but stream sniping is a bannable offense in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So, of course, when Novarin X complained about his friend receiving a 7-day ban for stream sniping against SHROUD while he was playing with Summit 1G, the community quickly rose up to protest. It wasn't exactly an innocent act. Brendan Green said the developer had tracking systems and data in place to confirm whether players were intentionally disconnecting or not. Reporting still needs work and bans aren't always justified, but not everything is entirely black and white in the world of streamers and stream sniping. The hatred of Miramar. How much did you dislike Miramar, the eagerly awaited second map to grace PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? For many players who simply wanted to play Erangel, Miramar was hated. It came up way too often for matches, and there was no map selection to avoid it. People did the next best thing. They renamed or deleted Miramar from the game directory, sending matches back to the lobby if it ever came up. PUBG Corp would later alter and provide less weight to the map, so the outrage sort of died down. Destiny banned for killing through walls. Another streamer story, this time about Destiny. And no, not Bungie's Destiny, but a Twitch streamer who found his walls didn't load properly in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So of course, he used a jeep to run over players while hiding in houses, fully aware that he could get banned for cheating. Sure enough, PUBG Corp issued a ban, and while this exploit could be attributed to the studio's game being faulty, Destiny did take full advantage of it. BLUEHOLE unhappy with Fortnite. For all its problems, performance issues, and bugs, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds remained on the up and up thanks to its strong following. Much of that was born from Green promising no microtransactions, which changed later, but also because the developer seemed plucky and decent enough. However, when Fortnite Battle Royale became a huge success, BLUEHOLE was fearful of it replicating PUBG's experience. CEO Chang Han Kim would later state that the PUBG community has and continues to provide evidence of the many similarities as we contemplate further action. This is when popular sentiment started to shift, whether it was from those who saw the obvious hypocrisy, Battle Royale being a copy of Last Man Standing, or who appreciated having a polished and free option in Fortnite. BLUEHOLE files lawsuit against Epic Games. So what did PUBG Corp do? What any sane corporation would do, it made things worse. It filed a lawsuit against Epic Games in Korea where BLUEHOLE is located. The lawsuit was filed in January 2018 to protect PUBG Corp's copyright. Suffice to say that Fortnite Battle Royale was already uber popular and PUBG was on the decline due to long-standing issues, thus leading to everyone lambasting PUBG Corp for the lawsuit. Strangely enough, the lawsuit was later dropped for no reason, though with Tencent investing heavily into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and also owning a large portion of Epic Games, it may not be all that mysterious. Microtransactions. When PUBG was just getting started, creator Brendan Green went on record multiple times to promise no microtransactions. It seemed like a dream come true, what with free bug fixes, new content, and mechanics and more being provided without any desire to gouge the player. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Microtransactions made their way into the game via loot crates, which led to the community rebelling. Green would apologize for how the whole thing was communicated, but adamant that microtransactions would stay. It would have been fine if Green and PUBG Corp promised a polished Battle Royale game mode in exchange, but that hasn't quite happened. Loot crate odds and loot box limits. PUBG Corp started doubling down on its microtransactions and loot boxes. It published a list of loot crate odds indicating the percentage chance of obtaining certain cosmetic items. One item had a 0.01% chance of dropping, and when players did the math, they found that it would take an average of 80 years of playing to obtain it. That or spending $1,600 on microtransactions. The asinine part, to make certain items more valuable, the developer limited the number of loot boxes that could be earned in a week, further pushing players to spend real money. SANHOK Event Pass. The Event Pass, despite being a ripoff of Fortnite's Battle Pass, isn't a bad idea in theory. It allows players to have a clear progression system with items they can unlock and keep. The problems are that A, it lasts for 40 days, B, requires copious amounts of grinding every day, and C, some items can't even be kept once the event pass expires. PUBG Corp would address XP gains and help smooth things a bit. However, the SANHOK event pass was ultimately viewed as just another money-grubbing attempt from the developer. That too, one who unironically sued Epic Games for infringing on its copyright. SHROUD apparently banned for playing with cheater. Former Cloud9 player SHROUD seems to get up to the weirdest adventures. His two-person squad queued with a hacker that was very blatantly cheating. The flying cars kind of cheating, if you will. Despite not actually doing any actual cheating, SHROUD partook in the merry escapade, netting kills that the elite hacks opened up. Eventually, he would get banned for a month, but the strange part is, that's purely on a word-of-mouth basis. Did or did he not actually get banned? It's still kind of a mystery. Cheating everywhere. Cheating has been a long-standing issue in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The developer has banned a few million people till date, while creating a dedicated team to deal with the cheat programs. Even publisher Tencent assisted local authorities in China with 30 cheat manufacturing cases, arresting 120 individuals in the process. Cheating remains a big problem, and though region locking may not be the ultimate solution, it is one the community has been demanding for a while now. Broken Xbox One release. We're not saying that PUBG Corp shouldn't have developed an Xbox One version for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, especially when it had plenty of work to do on the early access PC version. However, the Xbox One launch was just plain terrible. The frame rate was atrocious, pop-in was copious, and the game looked downright awful, even on an Xbox One X. Optimization was the biggest issue, and PUBG Corp did stick around during Christmas to address the issues. However, it looked more and more like the developer wanted to make the holiday season rush more than actually deliver a competently ported game. Performance in general. Remember how we said that many were willing to forgive PUBG for being in early access and having its share of bugs and performance issues? Well, they're a lot less forgiving now that the game is commercially released, full of microtransactions and potentially charging for custom matches. From desyncing and frame rate fluctuations to bugs, PUBG players have put up with a lot to feed their Battle Royale addiction. To be fair, PUBG Corp is working to fix things by completely refactoring its code, though will that be enough? Time will tell. Mouse and keyboard players on PUBG Mobile. Aside from it not seeing as much in-game revenue as Fortnite Battle Royale, PUBG Mobile actually isn't doing all that bad. It's got a decent following and it seems to run well. Of course, leave it to some players to ruin the experience for others. Mouse and keyboard players on PC took to emulating PUBG Mobile and competing in mobile-only matches. This allowed them the benefits of better aiming and stomping on newcomers. PUBG Corp did release its own PC emulator for the mobile version, and it's currently in beta, which good for those who want to continue stomping in mobile matches, I guess? The Gamescom Invitational Tournament 2017. Topping the list is PUBG's first real esports tournament, the Gamescom Invitational 2017. Forget that the game was in early access and had tons of problems like a terrible spectator mode, no in-game replays, etc., but the scoring system was also lame. Survival was arguably more important than kills, so one could theoretically outlast other players by doing nothing and still win. That's what Evermore did during the third round of the solo competition, thus winning $15,000 despite being placed 9th in that round. Let's not get started on the whole controversy surrounding the placements for Team Bosphorus and Cloud9 based on who survived more or had more kills. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.